Radhe Radhe. Morning, good evening, everyone. Okay, it's 9 o'clock, so we can get started shortly. We'll have to make a co-host Shefali as well. I think she has a presentation. So, good morning, good evening, everybody. Radhe Radhe. A very warm welcome to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your day or had a great day. Let's give about a minute and then we can get started. So, today we will do a little bit of brushing up the concepts just to see how much we have understood, and we're going to have a discussion around that at least for the first half an hour or so, and then we have a presentation coming up as well from one of our participants. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So let me get started. Let's get started by invoking blessings from God and Guru, and then we will get underway. So very warm welcome once again to all of you. Let me share my screen and we'll get started. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, just give me a sec. I just need to. Okay, let's do our opening prayers and get started. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Ishvaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsajanurmardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Radhe Radhe, very warm good morning, good evening once again to all of you. Give me a sec, we'll do one shloka while we wait for others to join in. Let's utilize this opportunity to go through one of the shlokas that we did yesterday, that Lord Krishna responded back to the question or the query from Arjun. That is the one we can pick up and then we will get started a bit. Okay, share my screen again. All right, so let's do shloka. I'll go to recite it and then we can have a few participants and then we'll get into the topic of our discussion today. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Sanyasa Karma Yogascha Nishreya Sakaravubho Tayostu Karma Sanyasya Karma Yogo Vishishyate. Do you have any participants who want to go?
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Sanyashah Karma Yogascha Nihsreyas Karavubho Tayostu Karma Sanyasha Karma Yogo Vishishyate.
Wonderful, Ashutoshji. Rahul, who next? I think you are on mute. Okay, I've unmuted you.
Radhe Radhe Shyamji, please go ahead.
Shyamji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Sanyasah Karma Yogascha Nishreyas Karavubho Tayosto Karma Sanyasat Karma Yoga Vishishyate. Radhe
Wonderful.
Radhe.
Nice, Shyamji. Radhe Radhe. All right.
Radhe Radhe Dinesh ji, please go ahead.
Ganesh, please go ahead.
श्रीभगवानुवाच सन्न्यास कर्मयोगश्च निःश्रेयस्करावुभौ तयोस्तु कर्मसन्न्यासात् कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते. राधे राधे.
Radhe, very nice. Ganesh, okay, you can pick up a few more.
Radhe Radhe Ramya ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe Shri Ramya.
Radhe Radhe all. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Shri Bhagavana Vata Sanyasa Karma Yogascha Nishreyasa Karavubhav Tayostu Karma Sanyasat Karma Yogo Vishishyate. Thank you.
Wonderful, Shri Ramya. Very nice. Yes. Do we have any more hands?
Yes, we have one more hand.
Yes.
Radhe Radhe Kamlesh ji.
Radhe Radhe Kamlesh, please go ahead.
राधे राधे.
Radhe Radhe.
श्री भगवानुवाच सन्न्यास कर्मयोगश्च निःशेषकरावुभो ततो तयोस्तु कर्म सन्न्यासात् कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते.
Very nice, Kamlesh. Radhe Radhe. Okay, I can see a couple of more hands. We can quickly take them.
Radhe Radhe Lakshmi Prasanna ji, please go ahead.
Yeah. Radhe Radhe everyone. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Sanyasah Karma Yogascha Nishreyasa Karavubhau Tayostu Karma Sanyasat Karma Yoga Vishishyate.
Very nice, Lakshmi
Thank
ji.
you.
Radhe Radhe. All right, we have two more hands and we'll get started.
Radhe Radhe Shruti ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe Shruti.
Radhe Radhe Rahul ji, Radhe Radhe Nitin. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Sannyasa Karma Yogascha Nishresa Karavubhav. Sorry, that went out of tone.
No way.
Tayostu Karma Sannyasa Karma Yogo Vishishyate.
Very nice. I think the chirping of sparrows confirmed you recited it all right. Okay.
Yeah,
I can see one more hand. Sumesh, real quick, and then we'll get started.
Radhe Radhe Sumesh ji.
Radhe Radhe Sumesh.
Radhe Radhe Nitin ji, Radhe Radhe everyone. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha Sannyasa Karma Yogascha Nishreyas Karavubhau Tayostu Karma Sanyasat Karma Yoga Vishishyate.
Wonderful. All right. So we'll go through the short translation for this, and now then we will get into the concepts that we have been discussing to test our understanding, knowledge, and have a bit of a discussion on that. This shloka, Lord Krishna is responding back to Arjun's query or the question that you have introduced both the science of work with regards to Karm Yoga and that the Karm Sanyas as well. So can you please decisively tell me which one is superior? In response to that, Lord Krishna says that both the path of Karm Yoga, Karm Sanyas, which is renunciation of actions, and when we say actions, basically it refers to your social duties. There are two aspects, right? One is a spiritual duty, one is a social duty. Social duty is at a platform of our bodily level, and spiritual duty is at the platform of our soul level, which is our true identity. So what Lord is saying is that Karm Sanyas, where you renounce the social duties, and Karm Yoga is where you work in devotion. You do both social as well as spiritual. They lead to the supreme goal. Both lead to the supreme goal. But Karm Yoga is superior to Karm Sanyas. That's what Lord Krishna is saying. And we discussed this concept in detail because in Karm Yoga, the hedging or the risk is covered. If plan A doesn't work, you have plan B to fall back to, right? Which will cover or save us from the grave danger of falling with no basis to support. And Karm Yoga is a means to purify ourselves, where we elevate our consciousness from thinking ourselves as a body to understanding who we truly are. So as we practice Karam Yoga, and as we deepen that practice, that understanding would come, and as part of Karam Yoga. Karam Sanyas, the entry criteria itself is very high. First of all, we should have crossed over this understanding that we are a body. People who are operating at the level of a soul, they are no longer obliged to perform social duties, and they can do Karam Sanyas. The grave danger there is, if you don't do it under the expert guidance of a guru, then you will not be able to tap into the spiritual bliss, and then it can derail your journey. So there is a caveat around Karam Sanyas part of it, that do it only under the expert guidance of a guru, because guru would know if you're ready for it or not. Nobody else can. We cannot take a call on that. And certainly not use it as an excuse, because we'll be neither here nor there. As we see so many Babas in Rishikesh and a lot of other places smoking ganja, that's what happens when you take a Karam Sannyas and you are truly not ready for it. You are neither here nor there. So that is what our scriptures are telling. So let's do a bit of a discussion around all the concepts that we have discussed so far, and have a discussion on it. You'll have to wear your thinking caps on to get the discussion going. Okay, so here is a graph. Okay, now this graph, on the x-axis you can see mind in God, God service, man hari mein, and on the left side it is mind in the material world, man jagat mein. On the y-axis you see body in material world, tan jagat mein, and then on the upper side body in God service, tan hari mein. So which one of this quadrant? So as you can see now, we have, where do I fall into, right? We are falling somewhere here in one of these quadrants for sure, and that is what we are going to discuss today. So revisiting this, which quadrant would we have? Let's start with the Karam Yoga aspect of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So top right is 1, and we will move clockwise. 2, 3, 4. Where do we think Karam Yoga would fall into, and why? And we will visit each of this quadrant. So it's a bit of a conceptual understanding test along with the discussion of this concept. So let's get it going. If somebody wants to take the first one, where do you think Karam Yoga would fall into? You'll have to exert a little bit, because we are talking about two extremes, where your mind is in service, mind is in world, body is in God service, body is in the world, and then which quadrant you think Karam Yoga would fall into? Yes, Samji?
I should be number 2, I guess. The lower right.
Lower.
Man hari mein, that gives the Karm Yoga, the spiritual aspect of that one. Body in the material world, that gives you the activity for the family and social and all those things. So I have that quadrant, like whatever you call the 6 p.m. or whatever, right bottom.
Right bottom. Okay, all right. Fair point. Anybody who agrees to agree, or agree to disagree, or disagree to agree, or disagree to disagree? I saw one more hand raised. I think Urvi, you had raised your hand. You wanted to add something to it? Yeah, please go ahead.
Radhe, Radhe. I also wanted to highlight the same quadrant which Shyamji said, because Maharajji also says the same thing in Bhakti Shatak, in the Doha, that Man hari mein tan jagat mein karma yog yahi jaan, man jagat mein tan hari mein ye mahan agyan.
Okay. Glad you could quote those as well. Great. Yes, Venkatji, you wanted to add anything to it? Venkatji? Okay, can't hear him. So yes, I think Samji and Urvi, you both are right. So this is what we have been discussing for the past 1 week. We went into great depths of it, right? Where we spoke about the concept where your body is in material world, right? We spoke about the Karam Yoga itself. The very definition of Karam Yoga is you do both the duties, spiritual as well as material. Material duties, that's where your body is engaged, while the mind is always engaged in God. That is the very definition of Karam Yoga. So you got it right. Okay, you get 100 points for that. the quadrant number 2. Now, which one would fall into Karm Sanyas? Anybody wants to take that? The concept that we discussed in detail yesterday. Yes, Rahul.
Shyamji.
Okay, Shyamji.
Yeah, Radhe Rahul, Radhe Nitin bhai. Yeah, the quadrant 1, body tan hari mein or man hari mein. The first one is Karm Sanyas, I guess. Is that so?
Let's see what Pallavi ji has to say and Shruti has to say.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe, everyone. Nitin ji, it will be first quadrant. Tan hari mein, man bhi hari mein.
Shruti, do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it should be the first quarter. Yeah.
Okay, yes, and Lakshmi ji, I think she'll agree as well. So yes, Karm Sannyas is where your body and mind both are in God. And like I said, it has to be done under the expert guidance of a guru. And because there's a grave danger that if you don't do it right, or if you do it prematurely, or if you do it based on your own intellectual prowess, you could go wrong, and then things can get worse than getting right. So hedging that we discussed, that financial concept, is not here. There's no hedging here. In Karm Yoga, the risk is covered. You have a flooring. At least you can get back to your duties. But the beauty of this, both the things, is that this has to be understood very clearly. It's not that you first do Karm Yoga, and then once you have perfected Karm Yoga, then it's a progression to Karm Sanyas, and then you realize God. In Karm Yoga, if you perfect it, you can realize God. In Karm Sanyas, if that is what you're supposed to do based on your past karmas, then also you can realize God. In both cases, you can do that. In fact, in Karm Sanyas, Bhagavad Gita, in that commentary, Swamiji has written very clearly, your odds of progressing towards God is faster. Not higher, but faster, he said. You can progress faster because your material duties and that aspect is cut down. You've already passed that stage where the lessons that you need to learn through the relationship and our worldly interactions are already cracked. You're ready to directly serve God, right? And engage in spiritual activities alone. Now let's get to the interesting quadrants. So 1, 2, 3. So where do you think majority of the people fall, 3 or 4? Of this world, basically. See, this one part of it is for our introspection aspect of it as well. Where do we fall and where do we aspire to be in? So yes, Samji, wanted to add something?
Yeah, number 3, everybody is in the material world, and bodies also, everybody is doing the worldly things. Tan Jagat mein, everybody's man, not everybody, I mean basically majority of the people, the man is also in Jagat mein. So number 3 should be my answer.
Okay. Let's hear from, I can see a few more hands. Sonali ji, Urvi.
Go ahead, Urvi.
I think it would be quadrant 4 because we see most of the people being so spiritual, especially in India. They do their puja and everything, but their mind is not engaged into that thing.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's both basically. We can't put a number to it, but yeah, that example is very right. We'll discuss that as well. Yes, Lakshmi, you wanted to add? Great point, Urvi. Thanks.
I think some are in third and some are in fourth, but it depends upon how you're making your mind and tan and man on the God and your work, how you're training yourself by acknowledging the knowledge. You can't differentiate much with 3 and 4, but you can't divide totally that it's totally in 3 or totally in 4.
Great. True. All right, so let's look at it. Anybody else who wanted to? Okay, I can see a few more. Yes, Sonali ji, wanted to add something?
Yeah, I think it would be both third and fourth because like some people are totally like everything they think about is in terms of materialistic things, and some people, like as the previous participant mentioned, that the mind isn't materialistic, but for bodily, like they'll be doing puja and all that, those things. So like 50-50%, I would say.
Yep. I mean, yeah, we can't put an exact number to it, but yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, mix.
we are roaming around in
Yeah.
basically. And let's look at it and take this discussion a little forward. So third one is, this falls into a lost and confused category. Okay, basically, don't know anything better, and that is the only agenda of life, right? You would do parties and enjoy and all that stuff, basically, where your consciousness is material, and with your body, mind, everything is material at that point, because there's nothing anything better that you know. That is what you think actually is going to give us happiness, or goal of life is, or everybody does that, so am I doing it right? You don't know anything better. It's just like the story that we spoke about in previous session, of that frog who has lived in that 4 by 4 feet well. And if somebody comes from an ocean and tells, I'm come from a bigger place, and the potential of the space that you can enjoy is immense, not be able to relate it, because their experience, it's like that a particular insect which has thrived or fed on neem leaves for their entire life, and you tell them this is how jaggery tastes, they will not be able to associate to it. So it is a lost and confused state, which is where we, most of us are, and we're trying to move at least towards one of these quadrants with proper knowledge in that, but that is where it falls. And then, especially when there is an interaction of people between quadrant 3 and who are striving to do quadrant 2 or quadrant 4, then people who are trying to align to some of the spiritual principles, there's a bit of a, one party thinks the other has gone mad, and this party thinks this has gone mad, so both think. The feeling is always mutual, right? So you become a party spoiler for them, and for you they become like somebody who's a lost entity. They need to find their way back, right? So that is how those interactions go. But majority of the people, until they have that spiritual awakening, because of their past sanskars, or because of their sheer luck in this life, or something happens in their head, our majority of our lives getting, it's spent in quadrant 3 only, where we don't know anything better, and that's what we think is the agenda, or the purpose, or the goal of life is. Quadrant 4 is interesting as well. Vips, not VIPs, WIPs. It's kind of an ignorant zone, trying to do something but then not completely there as yet, right? It's called as religious, not spiritual, right? You can be religious and yet not spiritual, and you could be spiritual and yet not religious, and you could be religious as well as spiritual. All possibilities are there. But when we limit ourselves to just the mechanical exercise of being religious, doing all the vrats, all the pujas, the mantras, and rotating your hand 3 times, circumambulating, all that stuff that we do, without understanding the real part of it, that it's the engagement of mind which matters, it's a blind zone. Basically, those blind spots, if you come in contact with a guru, proper knowledge, then they can be eliminated. So it's a work in progress zone. And even once we start understanding the theory, the gulf between theory and practice is again a big one to bridge. So typically people who are trying to make a progression in the spiritual path fall in this category, unless once they start perfecting it, Karam Yogi, true Karam Yogi, that proportion will start increasing, because you'll be able to extend that concept or that practice of attaching your mind to God and focusing on the process, not on the results, not having that sense of doership. All those principles, that proportion will start increasing. Then we start switching towards quadrant 2, and quadrant 1 is a rare soul, right? We come across like Swamiji, who have actually in Karm Sanyas, truly in Karm Sanyas. So this is an ignorant religious zone. But yeah, something is better than nothing, right? So if we spend our entire life doing the Karam Kand Puja Path alone, it's something is better than nothing, but it truly doesn't add much value, right? Even if you statistically look at it, even if we have said God's name once, one mantra charan we have done in one lifetime, we have already done it infinite times. Has it resulted in God realization? No. Why? Because it's a multiplication with zero. Okay, it's a very interesting concept. It's a multiplication with zero. You can say that as many times as we want. It's something is better than nothing, but until we associate our mind to it and start increasing our faith and love, the desired effect will not happen. It will remain at the surface only. And that is what our scriptures are telling. Yes, Lakshmiji, you had a question on it?
Same thing, I got the answer before I asked. The same thing I was asking when we chant the mantras like Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, like mantras which are powerful, but most of them don't know the real meaning of that. But does the chanting affect us, or what does it happens when we chant those mantras?
Yeah, so there'll be school of thought. People will say, at least you have the intent, God knows the intent.
Yeah.
That is fine, but if you think of it, if you are doing Vishnu Sahasranama and your mind is absorbed in the worldly thing, so what will you get credit for? The works done by our body and our indriyas, including that,
Okay.
is not noted by God.
Okay.
God only notes what we do from our mind, not what we do through our senses,
Okay.
or where our mind is. So the real thing is Mansi Bhakti. What you do from your mind is what you will get credit for. Right? That there is a story of Tavrit and Suvrit, two brothers were there. Okay, so they were going for a Bhagavatam part. So they were going for a Bhagavatam part. On the way, it started raining cats and dogs. So the only refuge they could find was a brothel there, both Tavrit and Suvrit. And when they went inside the brothel, obviously the scene was not something that they had hoped for because they were going for Bhagavatam. So Tavrit said, I cannot tolerate it. I'm just going. Even if I feel drenched, that's fine. But I'm going. Suvrit said, no, it's really bad. Let's wait for a bit. Once the rain will subside, then we can go. Tavrit said, no, I will go. And he walked out in that rain and went to the temple for the Bhagavatam part. Now he starts listening to the Bhagavatam part, right? He has started engaging his senses already. And this guy is still in brothel. Now Tavrit, who's listening to Bhagavatam, thinking, you know what? Suvrit must be having a good time. Where have I come here? Kind of a deal, right? Although he's listening to Bhagavatam, but now his mind is thinking that his brother must be having a good time. On the other side, Suvrit is thinking, you know what? It was just a matter of rain. I could have gone with my brother. It wouldn't have harmed me. And he's enjoying the nectar of Bhagavatam, and I'm here stuck in brothel. Both minds were different, right? Now what happens? They both started walking towards each other. He started walking toward brothel, he started walking toward the temple, and lightning struck, both got killed. Now when the Yamaraj came, he took Tavrit to hell and to other one to heaven. And he asked, I was at a Bhagavatam part and why did this? And he said, doesn't matter where you were. What matters is where your mind was. So the result they got was where their mind was, not where they truly were. Same thing for Makkah Medina. There is a story in, there was guy, he used to go to Makkah Medina every year. And there was another guy, he always used to make a plan for Makkah Medina, but could never go. And every year he will say, you go and, pray on my behalf and this and that. And it just kept on happening every, few years until after a decade or so, he said, this time I'm absolutely going to go. And something happened because of which he could not go. And he just started shedding tear because he just could not go. Every time he would plan, something or other would happen. So this other guy said, I have been going to Makkah Medina for the last 1 decade. You take all that piety from me and give me the vyakulta or the urge or the intense desire that you have to go there. I'll swap it for it. So the point is where your heart, your desire is, as opposed to what you are doing mechanically. That's a key concept with regards to spirituality. I hope that makes it clear. Okay. Yes, Survi, you wanted to add something?
Yes, I wanted to add to Lakshmiji's point. Actually, I saw a video of Maharajji in which he was telling us that you should actually not recite the Ved mantras because every one has a swar in the mantra, and if we don't recite it properly, it becomes sinful. And then he recited the Gayatri mantra properly, and I realized that we recited it in the wrong way every day. So,
yeah, Maharajji says that Swar, Desh, Kal, Niyam, everything. These mantra, everything has to be perfect for you to get the perfect result out of that mantra. Something goes wrong, it could be counterproductive as well. Right? There was a guy who was worshipping, I think Saraswati ji or Brahma ji, so that he could defeat Indra. And there was just a little bit fear in that mantra, because of which he empowered Indra more than making him weak, just because the swar was not right. Right? And same thing, this guy Indra played a trick with Kumbhakaran also. When he was worshipping, Indra is the first guy who gets insecure that they're going to go after my throne. So when Brahmaji came, he requested Saraswati to sit on Kumbhakaran's tongue. So instead of asking for Indrasan, that's what he wanted to ask. He asked for Nidrasan. Okay, and everything went. Right? What happened after that? So yes, these mantras are powerful, no doubt about it. But then Desh, Kal, Niyam, Dravya in which you are doing Swar, everything has to be spot on. And in Kali Yuga, it's increasingly difficult to do that. And rather than going for sophisticated mantras, if you simply do Radhe Shyam, Sita Ram, Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna, that will also give you the same impact, right? Why to go for something very, very sophisticated where the chances of error are very high? Yeah. Okay. Yes, Samji, real quick, wanted to add something?
No, I mean, stotras can be recited. They are not mantras like Vishnu Sahasranam and all. Gayatri mantra, yeah, it should be for eligible. I mean, I heard what I'm telling you what I heard. It should be for eligible, qualified people. But there is Sahasra Gayatri, which can be recited by women, everyone. Really, yeah, Nam Jap is better. There are few mantras which are diluted. Those are the diluted mantras which can be done by all. Like, even if there is, I mean, there is no requirement for swar and all. They are diluted things.
So
at least religious things keeps us disciplined. Something is better than nothing.
True. It's more about the enforcement of discipline than anything else. But if you truly think about the end game or the big picture around it, all these mantras, all the ritual practices, all the karam kand, they should lead to developing love for the lotus feet of God. Right? So if you can develop love for God through other means, simpler means, why not go for that?
Yes.
And for that, you need the clarity and that knowledge, right? What our scriptures are telling. Even Lord Krishna is saying in chapter 2, right? People get attracted towards the flowery words of the Vedas because they give you results. They'll give you result. You can do a mantra siddhi also. You can develop mystic abilities also. All that is possible. And that is why people get attracted towards mantra. But the ultimate objective of any practice that we are doing should result in developing love for God. And if it is not leading you to that, then just reject it. It's a very simple thing. And Karam Kand is 80% because 80% of the people, most of the people, they get attracted towards it. They need some kind of result. Like waiting game is not there. God, who's going to play that patient game and all that stuff? We need results. And that is why people get attracted to mantra and other things. But yes, to your point, from a tradition, carrying the tradition forward and having some kind of a discipline around it, those kind of things come into play as well, for sure. Yes, any other points? Rupaji?
Radhe Radhe everyone. My point is see, since childhood we are going through how others said whatever it mantras we are doing, we sit in front of God like Hanuman Chalisa ho Gayatri mantra or else Vishnu Sahasranamam, Lalita Sahasranam. So many things are there. People read as per their wish and all. So even our elders go through that and they also chanted many things. But knowing the meaning of every word is impossible for everyone. So we follow our parents or grandparents that they used to read this and we read that. Without knowing the meaning, and if we are reciting it, is there any harm in that? And that too, we are not perfect. Like Vishnu Sahasranamam, Lalita Sahasranamam are not so easy things. So when we chant, we get mistakes because without practicing, we cannot be perfect. So that practicing may take for some people some years, for some people some days and all. But is there anything wrong while we read also, if we get mistakes and all, but we wanted to do that recitation. Agar man mein ho, like if it's there in our heart that we should do it, and if we are doing it and something goes wrong or some mistakes come, how does it count into?
I don't know how will it count when Chitragupta ji analyzes it, but that's where knowledge comes in handy. If you Vishnu Sahasranama you're talking about, right? There's a shloka in
Yeah.
says Shri Ram Ram Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranam Tatulyam Ramanam Varanane. So Ram is equivalent to 1,000 names of Vishnu. So why not simply do Ram Ram? See, our mind says if you do some big Vedic mantra, it will be impressive. I mean, I have seen some Karam Kandis, Vedic Karam Kandis, the way when they recite it, that pride is coming out, something great they are doing. You simply say Ram Sita, that itself will give you much more impact because it's very easy on tongue as well. Just do it with faith. That's all is needed. But we think, sophisticated mantra and something great is happening, even though Panditji might not be even reciting it properly. So that is the thing. But yeah, sometimes it's carried forward. Do we get any credit for that if we are doing it intent, even though we are doing it wrong? I don't know. Actually, if you look at it technically, we have to get it right in every sense. Now, whether Chitragupta will ding you for that or give you credit, I don't know that. Okay, so don't hold me accountable for that. But simple thing is just God names. End of the day, if we have to say God names, why not take God names, which is so easily accessible to us, which we can do that. That itself will give you the same benefit, much more in fact, because you can do it so conveniently, right? So that will, yeah.
But so many say that chanting this Vishnu Sahasranamam ya Lalita Sahasranamam gives good positive vibes, and it is very good for you.
Do they say that if you simply recite God's name, is it going to be any less than that? That might be a counter question to that, right? You think Vishnu Sahasranama is greater than 1,000 times greater than the name of Ram? If you do that, will you get better benefits? This would be my counter question for that. Okay, so that should neutralize that argument. Okay, one last, because we have a presentation coming up and then we can continue, time permitting, because we have a session, so we have a hard stop today. We cannot have a luxury of another 15-20 minutes. So maybe one more participant real quick, and then we will hand it over to Shefali for her presentation.
Radhe, I think I have been unmuted. You were right. You said that Rupaji also clarified it. But if the mind is correct, and no matter what, in case you happen to be saying it in a different way or some pronunciation is wrong or something, that should count. Like I'm a Hindu, but I've been from Punjab, and Guru Granth Sahib, fifth Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Some lady was reciting in front of him some verses or something. But in that words, she happened to say flip-flop, like Meri Kirpa se aapka, something like that. So that then some other devotees, they pointed out to Guruji, she's saying the wrong way. No, Guruji said, okay, keep quiet. But in her heart of hearts, she is saying right. But whatever the vocally she was saying must have happened. Don't worry about that. She is a kind of qualified for that one. Rather. Simple.
Yeah. So that's where there's a difference between Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. If you are approaching God with the rule-bound stuff, then obviously you have to get it right. If you're approaching it with pure love, then rules take a back seat. That is the difference between Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. Okay, over to you, Yashwati, real quick. Last one we can take.
Yeah, I just wanted to know that if as simple as taking the name of the god like Ram or Krishna, then it gives the same effect as reading the Vishnu Sahasranama or whatever. Then why develop it in the first place? Why can't just keep it simple? Why do they develop it in the first place?
Yeah, that's because yeah, go ahead, sorry, finish your thought.
No, do they like, is there a is it a faster way for those who can actually read it, or it's just I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay, simple answer is no. If I tell you, this is how you do Anulom Vilom, and you'll be able to cleanse your system, you'll say so easy. No, but if I tell you, no, Shruti, you have to take one of your hand behind your back, bring it all the way like this, and then you do it, you'll say, yeah, now it makes sense. Something which is difficult is, better. That is our mind.
Mm.
Now, if I tell
Okay.
you, go through all the Shastras, Vedas, do Charan, you'll say, yeah, now it makes sense. Spirituality is all about it. I tell you, no, all you have to do finally is Radhe, Govind, Govind, Radhe. You'll say, so simple. I'll say, so simple. You say, no, there's might be some problem. So our mind, just to get to the simple things, it has to take a very complicated process. That is how we are wired. End of the day, simply doing Ram Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Sita Ram, Radhe Radhe. That is all you need to do. Nothing else is needed. No knowledge, nothing. All will come all by itself. That is the end
Yeah, so
objective. For our
we
intellectual,
feel that
yeah, we have to take that route. People do that.
yeah,
So
so humans actually feel that difficult, like attaining God should be a difficult process. So if
difficult
it is
is better
simple,
is what
then
our conception is. Yes, that's right.
yeah,
Which is what we are challenging, and hopefully it should make it clear for you.
yeah.
Okay, I know I wanted to give a fair time to Shefali, so over to you. I hope you can share your screen and talk. So go ahead, please. Your friend will be missing you. She was trying till the last moment to get, by the way, a friend wanted to attend the session and she's traveling, and the aeroplane did not cooperate with audio and video. So, but I said, okay, we can probably do another one. So over to you, Shefali, for your presentation. Please go ahead. You need to unmute yourself. Give me a
Yeah,
second.
okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we are able to.
Okay, fine. Radhe Radhe, everyone. I just want to share some thoughts or a short story to everyone, as you all are also my family now. And please forgive me if I say something wrong or I mention something wrong. It was around in February. From past 4-5 days, I was just wondering that what really is happiness. I was wondering that because earlier I have been conditioned to attach our happiness to several materialistic things. Like I assumed, okay, if I'll be having that particular career and I'll be earning that particular amount of salary, then only I'll be happy. Or I was always thinking, if I'll buy that particular type of a house or that particular type of a car, or if my relationships will be like such, then only I'll be happy. In short, I was just postponing my happiness. So that question was like countering my mind from past several days, that what exactly is real happiness. I have seen that when we were kids, we were conditioned that, okay, when you will pass this particular class, you'll be happy. When you will get enrolled in that particular college, you'll be happy. When you'll get a job, then you'll be happy. When you will marry, then you will be happy. But I was like little struggling with all this thing. Okay, fine, yeah, I don't think that these materialistic things are going to give me happiness. Yeah, these materialistic things do give happiness to us, but only for a short span of time. Then we get bored of such things. Then what happened? I just called my friend Sandhya, as you all know. Yeah, one more thing I also want to add, that I was just thinking that when people in situations will be my way, then only I'll be happy. If people will behave the certain way that I want, if I think good for others, and also everyone should think good about me as well, which was not happening at all. So in short, we keep hurting ourselves. And I was thinking, when situations will be this, I'll be happy. When I'll be successful and when I'll crack this particular exam, I'll be happy. Then I thought, okay, fine, these things are not going to work. If I want real happiness, I need to get my concepts right. So for that, I called my friend Sandhya. Many of us, you'll be knowing her. This whole thing happened in February of this year only. So I called Sandhya and she told me about this session that she was taking. And she explain the whole thing that they are discussing in that daily wisdom of Bhagavad Gita sessions. And I really got fascinated to hear all this. And I was like, yeah, sure, I would love to attend. Please send me the link of that session. So she sent me the Zoom link of the daily wisdom from Bhagavad Gita sessions. And from then I started attending them. And yeah, I started attending the daily wisdom from Bhagavad Gita sessions from around 16th or 17th of February. Until date, I have never missed a session, because there are so many things that, yeah, I want to put on that why I've made this session as my priority. What used to happen is, earlier, I used to grab each and every self-help book present on this planet to improve myself. Like, yeah, I was buying books, I was downloading it on Kindle just to improve myself. Again, that we all struggle to improve our thinking, our mentality. So I was just trying to grab each and every self-help book. But after, from the time that I have started attending the Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita sessions, I'm like, fine, I'm not going to read any other book. First, let me clarify my concepts and let me correct my concepts by reading Bhagavad Gita only. I understood that if I'm still learning, of course. I haven't understood everything yet. And it's just, I think even if I've understood just 0.1% of the things, I've I've understood that Bhagavad Gita is such a book which covers all the aspects of our life. And I feel that we have conditioned ourselves in such a wrong way, na? And with such wrong beliefs, we like question several things in our life. And one thing I really want to point it out, that people believe that spirituality or reading Bhagavad Gita is only for a certain age of people. Okay, when you will get old or when you will not be having anything to do, then only you should read Bhagavad Gita. Because I have heard such things so many times. But I believe that Bhagavad Gita should be read and understood by people of all age groups. I think it should be a must for youth as well. Because what happens is, we are having several questions in our mind and we are also struggling on different things. When we don't get the right answers or the right guidance, so we fall into the trap of several what can I say, unwanted things like alcoholism and drugism, all that stuff. So I think that Bhagavad Gita should be a book that should be a must for all age groups. It shouldn't be like to read or understand only in the old age. Like in our day-to-day things, we all struggle from so many things. So we also need the right wisdom. And one more thing that I want to point it out, I yes. And then I really like that line of Padma ji. She always mentions that take baby steps. Again, because of course, we all want to transform our mind. We all want to change. We all want to shift from that body consciousness to soul consciousness. But again, yes, it will not happen in a day. That, okay, that today I have understood this particular shloka and understood this particular concept. So, okay, now from now on, I'll change. Again, yeah, we cannot change in just a day, but yeah, we all can take baby steps. And this line of Padmaji is just like, what can I say, has been pasted in my mind. I keep reminding myself, okay, fine, take baby steps. You cannot just change yourself in one day completely, but yeah. And one more thing that I really want to point it out. Yes, I've started correcting my beliefs that, yeah, I try seeing things with a right perspective. And one more thing, I was completely ignorant of that concept of bhakti before attending these sessions. Yeah, I was completely unaware, or I can say I was completely ignorant. I used to understand bhakti is like something so boring, or it's, I don't know, matlab, I wasn't able to connect myself with this concept of bhakti. But for the first time ever, I'm trying to understand this concept, and this concept of love for God. I was, to be honest, I was completely unaware of these things. Okay, I always used to think of God as someone like, whenever we go to the temple, in fact, I also used to ask for, okay, God, please give me this thing, please give me this thing. I'll keep fast for 16 days and I'll do this, I'll do that. Please grant these materialistic things to me. But now I visited temple on last Sunday. I didn't ask for any such materialistic things. I just asked for, okay, please guide me and help me in love, developing love towards you, and please guide me through this process. Yeah, it was like for the first time I understood this concept of bhakti, and that too in a very step-by-step manner. And one more thing is like, when we attend these daily wisdom from Bhagavad Gita sessions, the wisdom is going inside us drop by drop every day. And I think this drop by drop wisdom is will actually like help us in moving forward in our journey. And yeah, this is the thing that majority of the people think that Bhagavad Gita should be read for certain type of people only or at a particular certain age. I think it should be must for youth as well. To be very honest, I would like to mention one thing as well, that earlier I was really struggling with that anxiety wala stuff, and I wasn't able to tell everyone that yeah, I'm having this anxiety. I don't know why. For I was having the fear of unknown and so many overthinking part was going on in my mind. But as I'm listening to wisdom day by day, daily, I will not say that I have changed completely or I have become perfect. It's not at all. There's nothing like this. But yeah, even if that 0.1% change has come, so I'm like, fine, I want to stick to it. I want to change. Even if it's just 0.111%, I'm fine. But yeah, I really want to grow, and it's like we all want to grow and evolve, and these daily wisdom from Bhagavad Gita sessions has really helped me in clarifying my concepts, my thinking, my beliefs, from which I was struggling from so long. I was just like if I was having some anxiety, I was just trying to watch a tech talk on YouTube, or try to read some book which was just dealing with the things on superficial level. Like last week only, or like this on this week only, we understood this concept of Karm Yog. So it has like made so many things clear in my mind. Okay, fine, we have to do things, but we don't have to attach with the results, and whatever we do, we have to surrender it to God for the results. Yeah, these are the few things that I wanted to share with you all, and thank you so much for listening to me so patiently. Yeah, over to you, Nitinji.
Shefali, wonderful. I think short and sweet, and you guys, like I always say, have taken to this path, and spirituality like fish takes to water. Pretty amazing. And and any creative stuff that you see, by the way, comes from Shefali. She's the brainchild behind it. Okay, she just manages the Instagram single-handedly, and these guys are amazing. The pace at which they are getting, the attitude that they have, very nice. So keep it up, Shefali. It's so good to have your energy and enthusiasm, right? It's very infectious for all of us. And you really summed it up, why it is needed for youth and
Yeah.
people for all ages, and some of the stereotypes that we have, you challenge them nicely and very nicely articulated, how it has started making difference in a baby step, drop by drop manner. Loved it. Okay, I'd let some participants chime in. I'm sure they would have some questions for you or wanted to say, but thank you so much for a short and sweet and to the point presentation. Loved it. I wish your friend was around there. She didn't want to miss it, but
Yeah.
we play it for her one of the days.
Yeah, sure.
Can I add something, Nitinji?
Sure, please.
I think Shefali has summarized all what you had been teaching in the last 1.5 years in 15 minutes. Yeah. So she has given the summary.
Yeah, Swamiji has made it so accessible for us in a platter that we all can pick it up, even if we attend, let's say, for a month or so, we visit all the concepts so that it will start getting sinking in. Very nice.
Thank you.
Super inspirational. Wonderful.
And we have lots of hearts and emojis pouring for you, Shefali. So
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, really.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Shifali. And keep up your inspiration going. And the great thing is you have started with Seva as well, so keep it up. It's pretty amazing.
Sure. And thank you so much, Nitinji, and keep inspiring all of us always. Really, a big thanks for you as well.
Pleasure. Swamiji is there as our mentor, right? And you see, you had the fortune to meet him in person as well within a span of few months. It doesn't happen just like that, right? So things are going right for you. Just keep hanging on to it.
Sure.
Beautiful. Let's hear. Maybe some participants want to add as well. Please do fill out the feedback tracker as well. We have 6 minutes, 6 more minutes. Couple of announcements. Tomorrow we have information session, so please do attend that. It's going to be 8:30 Central your time. Do not miss out on that. Also, we have family camp coming up, and then Sita Navami Mother's Day celebration. Okay, so check it out and help us spread the word. Go to Facebook, like the pictures, share it, comment it. That's a small seva you can do. I would let participant talk about it, and any other announcements that you want to make. Let's do that. We have to wrap up at 7:10 dot today because we have a mind management class coming up after this.
I think we have 4 hands, so 1 minute each for everyone. Hetalji, please go ahead.
1 minute each. Yes.
Radhe Radhe. I think I totally agree with you, Sefali. We people like millennial, and we don't understand. We boggle down and we confused a lot, which is Bhakti we discussed today, how the quadrant has been displayed and how we fall in each one, right? And now we want to skip each quadrant like slowly but slowly, right? So that's another steps we need to take again. And again, that's a baby step, okay? Another thing is I would like to add is, started after joining this session, I was also going under some kind of not depression, but like kind of same questioning in my mind, right? So many things. And being a pious from the day one with the families and being brought up into the Brahmin families and all that stuff. So I know the slokas and I know everything I used to be from my childhood. But then after, at some period of time in career, you focus more and then you completely get out of it, right? And then you start again joining and then say, okay, you know what did I miss? Something is there. So I always going to temple. I love going temple. That's my first priority. I ask my kids as well. But the thing is, as I said, right, we don't know what is the purpose behind it, how we get the happiness, right? So that's one thing. And after joining this session, and again, I've been very appreciative with the Swamiji visit here. Very loved it. And Nitinjan session, right? So it's make me contemplate every day now. So even I take one steps, it make me thinking, okay, is this the right approach? So even in the management or even in leadership or anything, I think twice. I contemplate into a deeper level, and then I make my decision and progress. That's it.
Beautiful, Hetalji. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. Okay, maybe we can take real quick 2 more. We have 4 more minutes, 2 minutes.
Yeah. Radhe, everyone. I don't know where to start, but kudos to you, Shefali ji. Such a wise head on the young shoulders that you have. Beautiful the way you narrated, and I was like listening to it, all awestruck, and then you suddenly stopped. It finished. So I wish it had gone further for the entire session. It was so beautiful the way you said it's not just the youth, but everyone, adults, everyone who needs to get this knowledge and start working on their lives on this. Now, the second big kudos is to Nitinji, who has been guiding us, of course, with Swamiji's knowledge where it's coming from, but still, so beautifully, eloquently, he does every session, like even after his wisdom tooth extraction and all that stuff. Kudos to you as well. I'll make it short. It's all God's grace. Thanks, Radhe.
Yes, very true. Very nicely summed up, Kumarji. It's all God's grace. And, just the small nuggets we are able to share with each other, like Padmaji's point, right? Baby steps. We are all trying to walk each other home, and it's a beautiful satsang we have, and we should feel extremely, extremely fortunate to be doing that. That's how I see it every day, right? Out of 7.5 billion people, we are the chosen ones, and it's something very, very, very special for sure. Great. Manishji, last words. Do you have 2 minutes, and then we can wrap up our session for the next one.
Radhe, everyone. Sefali, very wonderful presentation, very inspirational. We're all on the spiritual path, and it's just amazing. It's very fortunate, like Nitinji said, everybody has this opportunity because there are a lot of people that don't even believe in God. So, we are very fortunate. We must have done something good in our past karmas to have this opportunity to, devote our life towards God and service to Guru and all that stuff. So very wonderful. Great job. Radhe.
Radhe. Thank you, Manishi. And Shefali, I must say that today was one of the best testimonials I've seen on Swamiji's Bhagavad Gita. So it's your job now to extract it, and we'll package it nicely because it's one of the most beautiful, straight from the heart testimonials that is going to go places for sure. Okay, so You have some
Radhe
job.
Radhe Nitinji, I sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to add, Shefali ji has started co-hosting Lata ji's morning sessions. That is
Very
India
nice.
time,
Beautiful.
night time.
Beautiful. Very nice. That's why I say she's into seva right away, which is the best part of it. That's icing on the cake. So wonderful, Shefali. Beautiful. All right. 1 minute. I think PTG wanted to add something as well. Let's quickly take that. I know we have 60 more seconds before the next session. So yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'll be real quick, just 2 seconds, not more. Shefali, wonderful, wonderful. And I'm so happy, like we all face problems and then we turn to Bhagavad Gita, but all of us get solution, right? And I wonder this scripture, every problem that is there in the world is discussed there, and every problem that is there existed even 5,000 years back. So wonderful. I really loved your presentation. All the very best. Lots of love. Radhe
Thank
Radhe.
you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank
Beautiful. Very true. Bhagavad Gita is a one-stop shop. No more self-help books are needed anymore. You have a question, it will have an answer. And it will have answers to even those questions that have not cropped up in your head as yet. Okay, which will come in due course of time. Wonderful, great discussion. We'll skip our closing prayers for today. I'll hand it over to Ajay and Sunil Bhai for the next session. So Radhe Radhe, I look forward to seeing you next week.